Today, Humza Yousaf ended the Bute House Agreement by sacking Patrick Harvey and Lorna Slater. Ungagged members reacted. One member said, "I feel that the people who voted for Humza as leader weren't doing so because they were on board with right of centre values. The SNP membership should have had this put to a vote, as the Greens were doing. Party democracy. All the worst right-leaning people in Scotland, unionists and pro-Indy, both, are happy about this news. It's madness. Hypothetically, if the SNP now set a robust right of centre-right wing policy agenda, it's not like it would get support from unionists in Holyrood or unionist public members anyway." And another said, "Patrick and Lorna, humiliated. They have abandoned so much in the way of their principles. Honestly think they have ruined the real influence their party can have in our politics. That's all been for nothing. Apart from anything else, it just seemed really disrespectful to do it when Yousaf knows the party's membership was about to vote on it, unless he actually has a real reason to not want Greens in government." Ungagged editorial team member Val said, "Have been reluctantly dragged over to the view that a new indie party is required as soon as possible. Terrible timing regarding general election, I know, but terrible decisions being made. So at Alba, it's progressives and disillusioned Labour indie voters we need on board. The stability of pro-indie trend holds up while the SNP slides under the tremendous kicking it gets every day. And now this act of self-harm. The disconnect there shows that we need to act. It was the people, not the parties, who got yes from 28% to 45%. Ungagged podcaster and editorial team member David McClement said, "I'm not sure how the SNP expect to govern as a successful minority government when they've just shafted the leadership of the only party that didn't actively hate them. In one strike, Humza Yousaf has doomed not only his own leadership, but the leadership of the only other pro-independence party in the Scottish Parliament. Quite a morning's work. In one strike, Humza Yousaf has doomed not only his own leadership, but the leadership of the only other pro-independence party in the Scottish Parliament." Ungagged editorial team member Neil Scott said, "I'm not sure why he thinks this is a good idea. If it's something to do with copying Angela Rayner preempting Tory attacks in yesterday's PMQs, she was doing so to neutralise an enemy, not an ally. Are the right-wingers on his cabinet that persuasive? Does he think they have a winning hand? Does he think the public support the right? This is a massive error of judgment and an unwarranted victory of sorts to Alba and the right wing within the SNP. A better thing to do would have been to sack Cherry and others like those hampering Scotland's progressive green future. He has ensured that the right will go for the kill." Green councillor Holly Bruce said on Twitter, "Regardless of your views on the BHA, Scottish Greens out of government will, unlike what the First Minister is contending, destabilise action, whether that will be on decarbonising transport, green heating or tenants' rights, and the ban on conversion therapy, action on climate and human rights is now at risk of being slowed, watered down or scrapped completely. Distrust of the SNP is rife. They are not a party of progress and would rather bow to the old guard than to do what's best for people and planet. I have no doubt that the history books will look back at this moment as one that solidified a change in how Scottish folk think and feel about politics and how politicking is done. Self-interest has to go. My hope is that it doesn't disenfranchise, but embolden people's views, and I'm happy to chat to anyone considering joining the Green Party and movement. Scottish Greens are the party of action and are willing to do the graft, and they will continue to do that graft in or out of government." End of report.